In this video, we're going to break down one of the most misunderstood tricks in all snowboarding, the frontside 180. This is what we call a sleeper hard trick, and there's 2 points that make it so difficult if you're doing it wrong. First is the takeoff. When you're going and doing a frontside 180 off your heel edge, it's going to be really tempting to have your weight set over your heels. But when your weight is set over your heels, it's going to make it so your rotation is completely set. And unlike a frontside 360 or 540 where you have enough rotational degrees to change where your weight's set, on a front one, since it's such a small rotation, it just makes it so the whole time you're over your heels. And that brings you into the hardest landing in snowboarding, the switch frontside landing. In an unstable position, limits your ability to go and get any control, and it's the big reason why these are so hard. So let's go and talk about what we can do to make sure that our front one takeoffs are powerful and set us up for success. So first thing, even though it's a frontside 180, you still want to do your full setup carve and give it the respect it deserves. That means going and closing off your shoulders and increasing your range of motion. The reason why we're increasing the range of motion is the more range of motion you have, the easier it is to control and the more room you have for flexibility. But there's a few things we really need to avoid for this. Here, we can see that my student is going and closing off his upper body right away. So he's on his heel edge, closing his upper body and trying to hold his position for a long time. But this is what we call a compromised position, and it's going to make you want to lean more and more back towards that heel edge. So by the time he goes and gets to the lip and starts snapping, he's having his weight set all the way over his heels. Torstein here, when we go and look as comparison, is coming in on his heel edge, and after he's on his heel edge is closing off his upper body. And look at how patient he is throwing. He's only half a board length away before he starts snapping the trick. This is making it so he can use a bigger range of motion and his timing is going to be more accurate. And when he's popping it, his upper body is completely pulled forward towards that toe edge. And that's going to bring us into the next thing really important for control here, and that is making sure that you're lifting with your chest. You don't want to be throwing through the jump because that's going to create too much rotational energy that you'll need to spend the whole jump duration trying to disperse. So it's way better to use your energy and use the forces of your board to send you upwards. And that's exactly what Torstein's doing. He's going and popping, extending and pushing through his whole snowboard, getting maximum extension, maximum pop, all while keeping that upper body forward. If he went and had this hinge in his body not there and was taking off straight, he would be now set his rotation over his heels, what's going to make it impossible to go and bring the legs up. But because that upper body's forward, he's able to go and suck his legs up right into the position. So that's sort of the key and what we want to be working for. Taking off with an upper body position that we want to be our in the air position. Where when we look at my student here, he's taking off, set over his heels, and then immediately trying to readjust and throw his upper body forward. This is making him in this tall neutral position, and we can see his upper body isn't set over that toe edge at all. So how can we go and ensure success on this? There's a few things that you really want to keep in mind. First, even though we want to make sure that we're not going and holding our closed off position too long, we really need to make sure that we're not riding in with our chest open. We still need that extra range of motion in order to get the pop. So what I recommend doing is delaying your setup carve into around the spoon of a jump, and then only once you're on your heels, then close off with your body. And when you're doing this, pull over your body like you're doing a hard way front one. The only reason we're not doing a hard way front one here is because we're using this as a building block trick, and also hard way will make it so you can't pre-spin, and it's going to induce two-footed jumping more. But if you prefer doing a hard way front one, that's an easy cheat, because once it's hard way and you have your weight set over your toes, it'll make it so your axis of rotation and your pivot point is your toe edge. It's so much easier to get around and so much more control. The next thing we want to do is make sure that we're lifting our upper body and having our arms come up and pushing through that jump, making it so most of our energy is being used to lift. Think about it as doing a straight air or hitting a side hit. We're trying to go and use our body to put us up, not across, because on a frontside 180, you really can just do this all of counter rotation if your upper body's in the right position. So let's look at Torstein here. Coming in, heel edge, closing off, not holding it too long, just being really patient and getting into it, getting maximum extension. An important thing I'll note here is Torstein's extending as much as you'd ever want to, and look at how serious the angle of his board is. This is pushing the pop. So this is the goal, but not where you want to start because it makes the margin for error much, much smaller. But as you pop, you want to make sure that you're going and lifting your chest up and trying to have it rotate around 90 degrees. This is the sweet point because it makes it so you can utilize counter rotation as soon as you bring your legs up, even when you're bringing them up. So that's what Torstein's doing here. Upper body 90, bringing the legs right up to his chest and activating counter rotation. From this position, he's now on the arc of the jump because he got a good takeoff, his weight set over his toes, and he's dispersed most of his rotational energy by having it mostly sent up in the first place, and then using counter rotation, what will diminish his maximum rotation velocity. This allows him to go and just use a little bit of tweaks and shifts, sort of like you would for like a backside shifting on your board, in order to get the rotation rest of the way around, and that's what's letting him come in and land so clean. So a frontside 180 is one of those tricks where it seems really easy, it's one of the first tricks you'll learn, but there's a couple hidden things that just make it absolutely impossible. So recap, make sure that you're delaying your setup carve, you're delaying closing off your body, you're snapping with your weight set over your toe edge. If you take off a little bit hard weight, that's okay. And you're popping to a point that feels comfortable, but not so much that you're going and leaning back toward your heels. You want to keep your upper body forward. The more hinge you have in your hips and the more you're set over your toes, the more ability you'll have to adjust and rearrange yourself in the air. From there, we're trying to go and activate counter rotation to pull it around, and that combined with a good arc should get you in a good controlled position where it feels much more comfortable to come into the hardest landing in snowboarding. So if you want another video like this one, let me know what trick I should tackle next, and I'm really looking forward to going and doing some sick frontside 180s this year because it's definitely a trick I've been neglecting, and who doesn't want to do one that looks like that?